There comes a time in every believer's life when the old season ends and a new one begins. You can feel it deep in your spirit, a shift, a stirring, a call to move forward. Maybe the things that used to satisfy no longer bring peace. Maybe the people who once understood you no longer connect with your purpose. That's not confusion. That's transition. It's the voice of God saying, your new season has arrived. Follow my last instruction. Too often we pray for change, but resist the steps that create it. We ask God to open new doors while we still cling to the ones He already closed. But every divine promise is connected to obedience. The instruction He gave you last, whether it was to forgive, to walk away, to start again, or to be still, is the key to unlocking what comes next. God does not waste His words. If He told you to move, move. If He told you to let go, let go. If He told you to trust, then trust completely. Your next blessing is waiting on the other side of your last act of obedience. Sometimes the hardest part of entering a new season is leaving the old one behind. You may have to walk away from certain people who bring you down, not because you stopped loving them, but because they can't walk where God is leading you. Not everyone can handle your growth. Some were meant to be part of your past, not your future, and that's okay. When God separates you from certain relationships, He's not punishing you, He's preparing you. Every goodbye is making space for something greater, something aligned with your purpose. Don't be afraid of what's ending. Every ending is also a beginning. The same God who closed one door has already prepared another one for you to walk through. Your job is not to understand everything, it's to trust the process. When the Israelites left Egypt, they couldn't see the promised land, but they followed God's instruction one step at a time. That's what faith looks like. You don't need to see the entire path, you just need to take the next step in obedience. Your new season will require new faith, new strength, and new focus. Old habits won't fit, old fears can't stay. God is doing something fresh, something sacred, and He needs your full attention. Don't look back wishing things were how they used to be. Look ahead, knowing that what's coming is far better than what you've lost. You've cried enough, fought enough, and doubted enough. Now it's time to rise. This is your moment to follow God's last instruction and step boldly into what He has prepared. You are not stuck. You are being positioned. You are not forgotten. You are being refined. Your new season has already begun. Trust Him, obey Him, and watch doors open that no one can shut. The promise is waiting, and your faith is the key. Every new chapter in life begins with a choice to obey the voice of God, even when that obedience feels uncomfortable or unclear. Too often people pray for change while remaining in the same place, expecting God to move without moving themselves. But divine transformation doesn't happen through wishful thinking. It happens through action rooted in faith. God's blessings are tied to obedience. The instruction He gave you last is not just a command, it's a key. Until you use that key, the next door cannot open. Obedience is rarely easy because it often requires sacrifice. It asks you to let go of familiar habits, familiar people, and familiar comfort zones. It demands trust when logic screams no. You may not understand why God told you to walk away from something you love, stay silent when you want to defend yourself, or wait when everything in you wants to rush ahead. But every act of obedience plants a seed in the soil of destiny. When you choose to obey, even in confusion, you show heaven that you are ready for the next season of your life. God can't pour new blessings into a vessel still holding on to the old. Sometimes obedience will isolate you. You may feel alone, misunderstood, or even rejected. But that loneliness is not abandonment, it's preparation. God often removes distractions before revealing direction. In those quiet, uncertain moments, your faith is being tested. Do you trust Him enough to obey without seeing the outcome? The answer to that question determines whether you stay stuck or step forward. When you obey without full understanding, you declare that your trust is not in circumstances, but in the one who controls them. That's when the atmosphere around you begins to shift. The greatest breakthroughs are born out of obedience that doesn't make sense. Think of the times you've ignored that still, small voice and later realized it was guiding you away from pain. Now imagine how many blessings await when you decide to listen the first time. Obedience is more than doing the right thing. It's about aligning your heart with divine timing. You can't enter your new season with an old mindset. You must be willing to release control and let God lead step by step. When you finally surrender to that last instruction, whatever it is, you'll notice doors opening that effort alone could never unlock. Peace replaces confusion, opportunities appear unexpectedly, and your spirit feels lighter because you're walking in rhythm with heaven's plan. Every act of obedience draws you closer to purpose, to healing, to joy. You'll look back one day and realize that obedience didn't just change your situation, it changed you. It taught you faith, discipline, and patience. The moment you choose to obey fully is the moment your new season truly begins, and everything that once felt delayed starts to fall perfectly into place. Faith is more than belief, it is motion. It's not just saying you trust God, it's proving it by stepping forward when the path isn't clear. Many people wait for everything to make sense before they act, but faith doesn't work that way. Faith moves first and understands later. It's taking one small step into the unknown with confidence that the ground will appear beneath your feet. True faith doesn't need all the answers, it simply needs direction. When God says go, faith moves even when sight fails. There are moments when life feels like standing at the edge of a cliff. You can see nothing ahead but darkness and uncertainty, and yet something in your heart says, step. That voice isn't pushing you toward danger. It's guiding you toward destiny. Fear tells you to stay where it's safe, but safety can become a prison when it keeps you from your calling. Every promise requires a response. God can show you the door, but He won't force you to walk through it. The courage to take that first step is where miracles begin. Faith is not about pretending there's no risk. It's about trusting that even if you stumble, divine hands will catch you. The greatest stories of transformation began when someone chose movement over comfort. The waters of the Red Sea didn't part until the people started walking. The walls of Jericho didn't fall until the march began. The same way, the breakthrough you're praying for won't arrive until you move in obedience. Waiting on God does not mean standing still. It means aligning your movement with His direction. You can't steer a parked car, and God can't direct a life that refuses to move. Movement is also an act of surrender. When you take that step, you admit that you don't control the outcome. You release your grip on fear and allow faith to lead. Some people pray for signs, confirmation, or reassurance before they act, but sometimes God's silence is the sign. The lack of clarity is meant to build your dependence on Him, not your comfort. Every step you take in faith strengthens your character, reshapes your mindset, and proves that you trust the unseen more than the visible. When you finally begin to move, something shifts in the atmosphere. Opportunities align, hearts soften, and doors you never noticed before begin to open. You realize that faith was never about leaping blindly. It was about walking closely with purpose. With every step forward, fear loses its power, and peace takes its place. The journey may still be uncertain, but your confidence grows because you've seen what happens when you obey without hesitation. Faith that moves will always reach places that fear can't. And when you look back, you'll see that every step you took, even the trembling ones, led you straight into the new season that was waiting all along. There comes a point in life when you must stop looking back at what was and start believing in what can be. The past may hold memories, lessons, and moments that shaped you, but it does not define where you are going. Too often, people stay trapped in old seasons, replaying what went wrong, who hurt them, or what they lost, without realizing that dwelling on yesterday blocks the blessings of tomorrow. The truth is, your future is not behind you, it's waiting ahead, filled with opportunities that only faith can unlock. What's coming will not look like what you've left behind, and that's something to celebrate, not fear. It's easy to cling to the familiar, even when it no longer fits who you're becoming. Change feels uncomfortable because it challenges the version of you that has learned to survive. But growth demands that you let go of what's over. You cannot walk into a new season carrying the weight of old pain, resentment, or regret. Every time you look back wishing things were the same, you delay the new things waiting to bloom. Your past may have built you, but it was never meant to bind you. The same God who guided you through every storm will lead you into something far greater, something that requires a renewed mind and a free heart. The beauty of the future is that it doesn't depend on perfection, it depends on faith. You don't need to have everything figured out to move forward. You just need to believe that what lies ahead has purpose. Every tear you shed, every disappointment you endured was not wasted. It was preparing you to handle the weight of future blessings. The lessons of your past were not meant to break you, but to make you stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. You now have the strength to walk away from what once broke you and the courage to embrace what's next. Letting go of the past doesn't mean forgetting it. It means forgiving it. Forgive the people who couldn't stay, the opportunities that didn't last, and even yourself for not knowing better. Release the need to rewrite history and allow peace to fill the spaces where pain once lived. Once you do, your spirit becomes lighter and your perspective shifts. You begin to see that endings are not failures, they are transitions. Each ending carries the seed of a new beginning, one filled with more purpose, peace, and joy than you imagined. Your best days are not behind you. They are unfolding right now. The future holds new friendships, new blessings, and new growth waiting for your yes. Stop measuring your worth by what you've lost and start expecting what's coming. What's ahead of you is greater than what you've left behind, and every step forward brings you closer to the life you were meant to live. One filled with freedom, hope, and divine fulfillment. This motivational speech is inspired by faith-based principles meant to encourage spiritual growth, personal reflection, and positive transformation. It is not intended to replace professional counseling, therapy, or religious instruction from any specific organization. The message focuses on general Christian beliefs about faith, obedience, and trusting God's timing. Listeners are encouraged to seek personal guidance through prayer, scripture, and trusted spiritual mentors as they apply these insights to their own lives.